Alright, starting off with one of my favorite heroes ever, Iron Man. He gets spot 10 because even though the MCU makes Tony out to be like a super flawed individual, he is also a better person there than in the comics. Comic Tony, like most heroes, has done some pretty questionable stuff, like making a clone of Thor without consent, all the Civil War stuff. He's also done bad things in the MCU as well, like creating Ultron and running a weapons company. However, Tony's character arc in the MCU and the comics kind of makes up for it. In the MCU, by the end, the self-serving Tony ends up sacrificing himself for the fate of the universe, and it's one of the most heart-wrenching MCU scenes to exist. Plus, the minute he realized what Stark Industries weapons were doing to people, he immediately flipped the entire company's thing, becoming a beacon of clean energy. He did what was right and not what would be better for his wallet. Comic Tony and MCU Tony have both gone through horrible circumstances and are still able to get up and face the day with a smirk and a quip. I hope y'all know though that this list was so hard for me to make. There are so many heroes that belong here I couldn't fit, and ranking them was even worse since they're all on equal ground. But anyway, now we are going to move on to Nightwing, or you know, Robin. This might be a surprising addition to the list, since he isn't like on icon level status yet, I guess, like some other heroes. He is to us nerds, like do not get me wrong, but if you were to walk up to some random person on the street and ask them to point out Nightwing in a picture, that might be tough. Still, Nightwing is picking up traction. Not only is he usually the fan favorite of any shows he's in, and of course he has a great comic history attached to his name, but the general public is finally starting to acknowledge the hero. But I think it's time to allow the fan club to expand. It's what Dick Grayson would have wanted. There is also the fact that the character is relatable and technically could be attainable. If any of us actually put our backs into it and did some training, we could be just like Nightwing. I'm not going to do any acrobatics training anytime soon. I am scared of it, so I'm gonna leave that to the pros. People love Nightwing for his charisma and humor, but he is also super empathetic, and even though he has been through unimaginably hard circumstances, he always manages to find the good in people and the joy in life. Plus, he was once Robin. He was the original. When people think of Robin, they're probably thinking about him, and that's a legacy you can't undo. Up next, the Incredibles, the whole lot of them. This is the first family of the US as far as I'm concerned. What is not to love about them? They are a very real depiction of your average family unit. Their powers are all accurately reflecting the role they play in their family. The teenager wants to disappear and puts up walls. The mom is stretched thin. The baby is a confusing menace. The list goes on. Plus, if we expand out to the family friend Uncle Frozone, the Where Is My Super Suit combo is iconic hero history. The movies are great. It's actually the first movie I remember being conscious for, and it can be enjoyed by almost anyone. The Incredibles perfectly pokes fun at parts of the superhero genre. I'm looking at you, the no cape scene, but it honors it at the same time. You can't deny that the Incredibles are an international treasure, well designed, and hold up to this day. Deadpool is next. Deadpool had to make the list, y'all. I say like someone would disagree. Deadpool is loved for many reasons, but I love him because he is funny, breaks the fourth wall, and is unlike almost any other hero out there. He's truly special and different and not like other girls. Sometimes the superhero genre can be a little ridiculous, and it's fun to read and watch a hero that leans into the hilarious camp of it rather than try and make it serious. That doesn't mean he's all goof though. He will also have really heartfelt moments sprinkled in. Deadpool's backstory is, like most heroes, tragic, and it's interesting to see and read about how a wild character like Deadpool deals with all the hard times he's experienced. We love to see a hero that, no matter how many times he gets literally ripped apart by life, he gets up again and never loses his spark. Moving on to Wolverine, another hero that will literally get ripped apart and manage to walk it off, though he is considerably grumpier about it. But Wolverine's always agitated nature is just part of his charm. Much like the other heroes on this list, Wolverine has been beaten up by life, literally, figuratively, mentally, ground zero for the bombing of Hiroshima after watching his lover perish at the hands of his enemy. He really should not be standing, and yet he always gets back up. I will continue to bring up that moment of Wolver history because I still cannot believe that happened. Wolverine is so widely loved, people are willing to excuse almost anything he does because Wolverine has done some really bad things, like drowning his son, for example, but yet there is always an argument that he did what was justified in the moment. As a Canadian, I am ride or die for Wolverine. It's on the citizenship test. One big reason I personally really like reading Wolverine's life story is because I like history agree, and I think it's hilarious to read how Marvel has altered history just to fit in Wolverine, but Wolverine slays in any type of media. Animated shows, great. Video games, awesome. Live actions, amazing. Hugh Jackman's version of Wolverine is so loved that him returning as the character, wearing the iconic yellow suit, has people saying he will save cinema, and I agree. Alright, we are shifting to Storm. This mutant has captured the hearts of Marvel fans around the world due to her fearless nature and general take-nothing outlook on life. Storm has done things that aren't great, sure, but nobody is perfect. It's what makes a goddess relatable. Also, her and T'Challa getting divorced, and then as revenge, she goes and dates the one person he said not to. She went from being the Queen of Wakanda to Queen of our hearts. Always aspire to be that petty. Storm is getting a brand new series and will be teaming up with the Avengers soon, and we all could not be more excited about it. Wonder Woman is next, of course. Wonder Woman is one of, if not the most popular female superhero out there. She has been someone little girls have looked up to for decades, and what a good role model. She stands for justice and the truth, that goes without saying, but she also shows women that you can be strong and still be a woman. You don't need to give up your feminine side just to be the strong superhero. I saw a good quote online about Wonder Woman. Diana represents the best of what a woman can be. Her leadership skills are unmatched. She's a good leader because people want to follow her. Wonder Woman is truly a kind soul. She was kicked out of her home, living in an apartment, and still allowed a bunch of gorillas to stay there with her until their city was safe again. Stronger woman than me. I don't know if I could open my apartment up to a bunch of gorillas like that. That happened in Wonder Woman Volume 3. It's like the circle story if you want to read it. Wonder Woman is compassionate, fearless, and wonderful. Alright, and now we have Superman. Superman is a pop culture icon. He is the symbol for freedom and strength and good things in general. That much is true. Superman is also just a good guy. Truly, he's just a good guy. I get that there have been versions of him that have done bad things and Dark Superman, whatever, but the character at its core is a manifestation of the concept of being good. He is recognizable around the world. His story is recognizable. It's hard to find someone to ever play him because he is literally the definition of perfect. Doesn't mean that he hasn't done bad things. No, absolutely not. He once destroyed an entire underprivileged neighborhood with absolutely no warning. He did it so the government would step in to help rebuild the neighborhood, so good intentions, but still. There is a new Superman headed our way soon, David Cornsweet. You have some big shoes to fill now that Cavill has departed, but from the on-set photos I've been seeing, it looks like our man is in good hands. And spot number 2 is our friendly neighborhood web slinger. Everybody loves Spider-Man. That's why his movies do so well, and he makes random guest appearances in comics. Every team wants him, but not every team can have him. He is known for being part of the Avengers now, but he initially rejected their invitation, along with one from the X-Men. He tried to join the Fantastic Four that one time, but when he found out there was no paycheck, he dipped pretty quick. Can't blame him. People love Spider-Man because he is heroic, sure, but he's also funny and relatable, and he has one of the most iconic superhero love stories out there. Marvel will keep Spider-Man in a constant state of suffering. It's a rule of the universe, but it also leads to big emotional moments that round out his character and have cemented the web slinger as one of the greatest heroes ever created. It's also easy to love him because he could be anyone. You could put on the mask and be a hero, and that's beautiful. After all that praise, you're probably like, girl, why is he in spot 2? Well, I would have put him in the top spot, but J. Jonah Jameson is just such a hater. The energy transcends through the page and screen and puts Spidey in spot number 2. And alright, spot number 1. I get that no matter who I put in this spot, there would be controversy, so let me know in the comments why my top choice is wrong. But my top choice is Batman. This is favoritism. He is my favorite, and I grew up with him. Bruce Wayne, they could never make me hate you. Bruce Wayne is just so interesting. His life story is so tragic to read, you can't help but feel for him. Even though I hope no one has to go through what little Bruce did, there are aspects of his story people can relate to, again with always getting back up, pretending you're fine when you're not, trying to be the best for people and it never being enough. Everyone goes through feelings like that in their life, even billionaires. Plus, Gotham City being a place where everything sucks so bad some vigilante has to step in to deal with it. Tell me we haven't all thought about that. Maybe it's just because I live in the Gotham City of Canada, Toronto, Ontario, I don't know. Then there is also the part about Bruce Wayne's fortune. He is a billionaire using his money for good. rare. Bruce Wayne is frequently donating to charities and adopting troubled teens, and Batman is keeping the city's criminals in check. I like to think that if I were a billionaire, this is how I would be. And my final argument? Lego Batman. That's one of the greatest superhero movies ever. Argue with the wall or in the comments section. But that's it, that's all. See you later. Bye!